me to volunteer, but now I'm the Special Advisor for Youth Engagement and Development, and we want to make you feel very important. Are you important? Are you valued? Yes, you are. Now I know the mayor wanted to do something very special for Black History Month, and I did send the invitations out to your school, and I know that some of the teachers snuck in quite a bit of you, but because you love the mayor, I know that all of you are here to say congratulations and to say how proud you are of him. Now let's give a big round for Mr. John Tory, our mayor, John Tory!
Sitting in my seat, I was going to say that because my seat, I have two seats. I have one up here, which I never sit in, and one over there. And somebody should be sitting in that seat. So why don't one of you go sit in that seat? I like that. You want to sit there? Okay, you go sit there. You can be me, and all the problems. You can have all the problems and all the complaints too. Okay? I want you to feel most welcome here at City Hall. This is the place, and I think you know, where democracy, where we have our government that's elected. I get elected, and all the members of City Council, and I think Councillor Joe Mahevic is here. Is Joe here somewhere? I heard he was going to be here, but it's hard to tell. There's so many of you here. And the people who are elected here by your mums and dads and some of your brothers and sisters who are able to vote, you can vote when you're 18, they make the decisions about what goes on in the city in terms of where we build transit and how we help to make sure the city is safe and that the water runs in your homes and all the different things, the parks, the programs in the communities, and that's decided on here. And there's 45 people here, including me, that make those decisions, and we have a vote here all the time. You can see the buttons on the desks. There's a red button if you want to say no, and a green button if you want to say yes, and that's how we make decisions. So it's an important place for you to come and visit, but it's also an honor for us to have you come and visit here, and it's a particular honor because we're doing it during Black History Month.
Every person's history is very important.
Were you saying that everybody's history is a part of our own history collectively together? And that's so true, and that's the main thing that I wanted to say today. Because I was at an event recently where somebody said, well, maybe we didn't need to have a Black History Month anymore because we all understood what the history were and some of the important people and so on. And that's actually not true, because there's two reasons you want to have a Black History Month. One is, and the most important thing, is to celebrate people who happen to be African Canadians and people who happen to have black skin as opposed to skin of another color, and the fact that there have been many of those people who have achieved a great deal in our country and have helped to build the country and have been people of great accomplishment, whether it be in sports or in politics or in business or in medicine or just in the community. And the second reason is because there are some parts of that history, and I hope those of you, I studied history all the way through university. I really liked learning about what had gone on in the past, and one of the reasons I liked it was because it taught you lessons about some of the mistakes that had been made in the past, and some of the things people did to each other that were not right. And part of the reason why we want to celebrate Black History Month is because there are many people of achievement that have done a lot of good things, that we want to make sure we know who they are and what they did so that we can all follow their good example and celebrate who they were.
Who wants to be a mayor for today?
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, before I begin, I just want to do one thing. It's a hand and eye coordination test that I do at least twice a year to my audience. So before we do it, can we please just all stand up for 1 second? Everybody stand up. Now what I want you to do, I want everybody to hold their hands 6 inches apart. Okay? Got it? Okay, now, I'm going to hold my hands out in the air. And every time, let's do a test. Hang on, let's see, ready? Not bad. Okay, hang on. Okay, ready? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for giving me your attention. I'm not going to be very long. I'm going to talk very, very quickly because we have so many amazing speakers here, and I want to make sure they get the same time to talk. You know what? In life there is a secret to life that I'm going to pass on to you if you want to be successful. Every life is a journey. Every single one of you will go through a journey in your life. And there are 3 important questions that you will have to ask yourself and have the answer to if you want to succeed in life. Those 3 questions are, how did I get here? Why am I here? and where am I going? And if you can answer those 3 questions, you will succeed in life. That's what Black History Month is all about. It answers the first 2 questions. It answers, how did I get here and why am I here? See, before I went to school, or before, when I was going to school, we didn't have Black History Month. And when we didn't have Black History Month, we did not understand any Black history at all. And because we didn't have any Black history taught in school, we didn't know the value that we brought to our community. And so Black History Month teaches you the importance that we bring to the community, why we're here, some of the amazing things that we have done, some of the amazing things that we will continue to do. But for you, you have to understand that once you understand why you are here and how you got here, you will have more confidence, because in life, whenever you want to do something, there are going to be people that will tell you that you're not going to be able to succeed. But if you have the confidence in yourself, if you're strong enough and you have an understanding of why you are there, you can accomplish anything.
Big round of applause for Mr. Orlando Bowen.
That when I say one voice with passion, I want you to say one team. One voice?
One team.
With passion. One voice.
One team.
Now that's what it takes to make a difference. That's why we're here. Because there are individuals who have gone before us who have seen that we can't make it on our own. It takes a group of people who are committed, passionate, and dedicated to a cause to allow us to do things and be things and see things that we may not have had as a possibility for us. Now, who here likes hanging out with their friends, playing outside? Anyone? Okay. All right, hands down. Now, growing up, I grew up in public housing, in metro housing here in Toronto, and I remember going outside to play with my friends and coming inside and being ready to eat, and my grandparents, who I spent a lot of time with, made sure that all the kids were set. So we sat down at the table, and they started walking around, and they're like, okay, are you good? You got enough to eat? Are you good? Are you good? So when everyone was good, my grandparents went into the kitchen to eat, I thought. The reality was that we didn't have enough food. So when my grandparents left the young people that were sitting at the table and made sure that we were all good to eat, they went into the kitchen and they cried and they prayed. They cried and they prayed that the folks that were the young people seated at the table wouldn't have to face the same tough decisions that they had to face in terms of who eats. They prayed that the young people seated at the table would seize opportunities to step into the greatness that they were designed for, and be able to make the city and our province and the country a better place.
That during Black History Month, that in my opinion, this is why I'm here, because I feel very, very strongly about this, is that many, many years ago, in the 1950s and 1960s, there were things that people of color couldn't do. And it sounds almost, to tell you today, it just sounds silly, and it was, and so many things they couldn't do. They couldn't be at the same table with different people. They couldn't go to schools with certain people, and all of these things sounds to you like ancient history, but so many great people went and fought for all of the rights. And these rights that they fought for, they fought hard. And it was hard. People back then were not as intelligent as they were today. They were people that they were just people that just didn't know better. And they didn't accept all these changes. And they treated people very badly. They didn't treat people fairly.
I'll give you a bit of background on myself. First of all, thank you very much for having me here. Everyone around here, this is what I see as the future. Thank you to, most importantly, the Mayor, John Tory, CHAPMAN for getting me here, and our guardian, the Chief of Police, Mark Saunders, and everyone of my esteemed colleagues on the panel here. I'd like to look at myself as saying that, I was you one day. I grew up in what I call lower middle class area of Toronto, at Charlemagne, which is at Willowdale and Shepherd, right across the street from the project called Willow Tree. So early on in my life, being the son of an immigrant family, I learned really to assimilate in crowds which were not necessarily of same nationalities and same color. I later moved on to Senlac and Shepherd, which is close by, where I eventually took a lot of interest in the Jane and Finch area and started a program called Seeds of Hope. In that journey, what I did find was a lot of adversity. In that journey, what I did find was a lot of people telling me I could not do it. In that journey, I found a lot of people saying that you will never make it. But I started working at 6 years old as a paper boy, graduated to a busboy at 12. At 15, I was a host. At 18, for a brief period of 3 days, I was a waiter until I got fired. Unfortunately, that was a setback, but in turn, it turned out to be a fortuitous setback, as I got a job on the Toronto Stock Exchange floor. And over 32 years, I became an overnight success, and now have a substantial amount of interest in Waterloo, and run a company called Difference Capital, and have a part on the show on CBC on Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. called Dragon's Den as one of the Dragons.
The very first question I want to answer today is why. Why Black History Month? The mayor touched on this briefly, but the reason why we celebrate Black History Month, anybody know Rosa Parks? Yeah. Anybody know Viola Desmond? You don't know Viola Desmond? Well, Rosa Parks was contributed with starting the civil rights movement, because what happened? She refused to get out of her seat. And that happened down in the US. 9 years before that, in Canada, Viola Desmond, a black woman who could not go to university or could not go to college, to beautician school in Halifax. She wasn't allowed. So she had to go to Montreal to go to school, and then she went down to New York City. She came back to Halifax as a beautician, and she started her business. Today, in monetary terms, she would be a millionaire. And she came to go to a movie, she went to a theater to watch a movie. And going to the theater, she chose not to sit in the section that was designated for black people. She chose to sit in the seat that was designated for white people. It actually cost more money to sit in that section, but she had plenty of money. She paid the whole fare. When she paid the money, she sat in her seat, and they came and they said, "Ma'am, you can't sit here." She says, "Of course I can. I paid my money to." And so they made up a tax that they said, well, you didn't pay this tax.
And that secret weapon is the power of your mind. Did everybody hear that? Yeah. The power of your mind. Every day we use our mind in big ways and in small ways. You used it this morning when you tried to figure out what to put on before you came out the door this morning. You use it every day in school when you're learning and when you're studying. You use your mind constantly. Your mind is a very important weapon to your success because it's the place where you make your decisions. And so from that standpoint, I will say to you that this was an important tool for me as I was a young person like you growing up, and trying to make decisions about the things I needed to do in life and what needed to happen after I finished studying. So in that regard, your mind is an important tool to help you overcome some of the challenges that you face every day when you make choices, make decisions about whether or not you're going to hang out with one set of people or another set of people. Your mind is constantly at work.
I'm with the Cabinet Ministry with the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, and the winner who wrote that piece is Hannah Youssef. Can Hannah come up here? Where's Hannah?
How about a bigger round of applause for that?
I think Hannah deserves a way bigger round of applause than that. Come on, Hannah. And you get
take a picture.
You can hold that up, turn that around this way. There we go. And that would then bring us to the winner of the 11 to 13 age category, who wrote a terrific piece about a man I also had the privilege of knowing. His name was Charlie Roach, and he was a great activist that sort of really advocated on behalf of black Canadians and was a great civil rights activist and really a great Torontonian and a great Canadian. And the winner who wrote that piece on Charlie Roach is Pranitha Kakarala. Pranitha, will you come on up here? Your last name wrong. I apologize. It's Carla, right? I'll get that right. I'll do it. I'll fix it. And that's for you as well. We'll open this up so you can have that in the picture, and you can hold that one. There you go. Can you just come in front of Way, a very well written way. So Timothy Vince is the runner-up in the 14 to 17-year age category. His time down here, but he was a great Canadian, and also written about him was the piece that is the winner of the 14 to 17 category, written by Jonelle Whittingham. Jonelle, come on up. Congratulations, well done. Great. I'll give you that. All that. They want to step over here a little bit.